Welcome to AI TV. We're broadcasting live from AI Expo Africa 2020 online, the online edition. Because of COVID, we've taken our media center and AI TV online, and we're doing all our interviews at the show using Zoom. So forgive the format, slightly different for this year for everybody, but obviously that's the situation we have to deal with. But in doing so, going online means we can invite more people from other countries around Africa and also around the world. And this year we had a phenomenal interest from other countries outside of South Africa, which is where we run our event from. And it gives me great pleasure to welcome Hatem, who's the CTO from iCompass, based in Tunisia. So I'm at the bottom of Africa and you're at the top of Africa. Hatem, welcome to AI TV. How are you?
Hello, how are you?
Well, Hatem, I think you guys were fully immersed in the event this year. You presented a poster, you gave a talk, and you also developed some very interesting new relationships. And you guys are broadly focused around looking at, as I understand it, NLP type applications of AI and languages in Africa. Do you want to spend a little bit of time explaining your company and what you do?
Thank you for the invitation. iCompass is a startup based in Tunisia. It had 1 year old. It's quite new, but the work started many years ago. Since I'm academician, I'm professor at the university, and I started working on what we call underrepresented languages, which are Arabic dialects and African dialects. And I observed that no one is paying attention to these dialects in the academia. So when we check the main conferences, we don't see any work on this dialect. And I started working on this more than 5 years ago. I published some works and I did some models, deep learning models for this. And the idea is to bring the scientific work from university to the industry by deploying new products that can solve the gap between dialects and make it in real products like assistant, like a chatbot, but it's based on underrepresented languages.
Now,
this is the main idea about iCompass.
Okay, brilliant. Thanks for that, Hatem. I mean, many people watching AI TV won't realize that there's 2,000 or so languages in the Africa region. Languages that many people would have never heard spoken before. I mean, when we spoke to Bonaventure and his team, who were also at the show, they were working on the Fon language in Benin, in West Africa. And you know, I was asking him, you know, where do you get your training data from? Where do you get the data for training the models that you're building from? And we were talking about the repositories for these different languages. What is that one of the biggest challenges that you're finding, is getting data to train the models for the African languages?
Indeed, the main challenge is to find the data to train our models. Unfortunately, there is no available data for this, so we build our own data. We started this work like 5 years ago for Arabic dialects. Now we pay more attention to African dialects. Recently, in the context of the COVID-19, we deployed a chatbot in Nigeria. It's called Amina the bot. We used 3 different dialects, local Nigerian dialects, but we touched more than 200 million people using our chatbot.
Wow.
And deploying this chatbot in Nigeria, these dialects are used in Nigeria, but also countries around, because the dialect has no border. It goes.
That's right.
And since we deployed this beginning of April, we collected a lot of data because people would like to know what about the COVID using their own dialect. And in parallel, we are collecting all this data. We are doing annotation of the data, and we are building new data set about local dialects. Another source is we are active in the Zendi community. We won a competition with Zendi last February, and we went to the second phase that we are asked to get our data set bigger in collaboration with the UNESCO. With the UNESCO. So we are very active in building these data sets in order to use it for learning, for our deep learning models.
Yeah, I'm you know, it is a fascinating challenge that you and others are working on. I mean, we take it for granted that English, Spanish, French, maybe Japanese, you know, these languages and Chinese, Mandarin, that they already have had a lot of work done on them to look at natural language processing, natural language generation, mainly because the populations are in countries where there's a lot more funding that goes into the research, and also obviously many people that want access to those technologies, which are also prevalent in those countries. I mean, I think we're heading towards the largest, youngest population on the planet in Africa region by 2025. And obviously young people like mobile phones, and more people are getting phones now in the Africa region. How long do you think it would take, let's say, for the languages that you're working on to become at the same standard of translation that, say, we are at with English, for example?
It's a very interesting question, yes.
Yeah.
Well, the challenge of a startup is the time. So our main challenge is about time. It's going very fast. And one strategy that we are applying in iCompass is that we are building collaboration south-south. That means we do collaboration with other African countries, with people interested in this area, to go together and build our data together, collect, share, and also build a good quality data sets that can be used in research or other companies. Now we established a collaboration in Nigeria. We have a collaboration with Instadeep for
Yes.
speech recognition. So we started working on Tunisian, but slowly we go for other African dialect. And the idea here is that alone we cannot do it very fast, but if we do collaborations with universities, with other startups, I think we can do a good job in few time, and we reach this gap between classic standard languages like English, French, and the African dialects.
Yeah, it's an amazing piece of work. I mean, it's almost a kind of societal foundation for this next wave of technology that is coming. I mean, I'm 50 years old now, so you know, what will happen in the next 50 years is going to be mind-blowing. But we need these translation models and technologies, obviously, to work if everybody is to enjoy access to the revolution, if I can use that term.
Yes.
So you're saying iCompass is just 1 year old, Hatem. I mean, obviously, one of our goals with the show this year being online was to make it easier for people to contribute to the AI Expo Africa community. How did you find the online experience this year? Being a company in north of Africa, being online doesn't matter anymore. So our event was virtual. Did you find it a useful platform to engage with this year?
Yes, indeed, it was very interesting. I think we have to get used to this online events or online meetings. This is something that we experienced it here in iCompass during the COVID how to say, confinement. For two months, we had to stay at home because of the COVID. And we kept working from home, everyone. And now we have the technology and we have the experience of working online. I see all the main conferences are done online this year. And why not keeping this model for the next years?
So just to wrap up, Hatem, it's been great to welcome more African tech companies to the event. I think for us, we're going to look at a hybrid model, I think, for next year. Our show still carries on right now. We have an on-demand platform. The show from last week now is archived, and anyone across the globe can log in and access the event. So I'm hoping a lot more people will see the work that you are doing and this amazing research. And I just wanted to thank you for your commitment. I know when you're, as a fellow entrepreneur, when you're running a startup, time is not on your side. So I do want to thank you for your support this year, and look forward to welcoming you back next year and to see some of the results that you've achieved.
Thank you for the invitation. It was a great pleasure to participate in this event, and we are working for the next event to show more results from our side.
That's great. Many thanks for joining us on AI TV, Hatem, and we'll be in touch soon.
Thank you.